Hey everyone, sometimes a movie just kind of catches you off guard, and that's kind of what happened with me when I went to see Chainsaw Man, the movie, which features the REZE arc. I expected a demon slashing spectacle story, which I definitely got, but I also came out of the theater surprised by the fact that I had just seen this incredibly touching love story. It's romantic and it's tragic and it's violent and it's beautiful all in the same breath. There are definitely some interesting challenges that the film decides to take on, including a switch in directors from the Chainsaw Man Series 1 and this new REZE Arc film. The question is, does the director Tatsuya Yoshihara's direction elevate Tatsuki Fujimoto's original story, or does it fall short? That's what we're going to look at here today. So let's get into it. While you're here, please do remember to give this video a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe for more. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. All right, so Chainsaw Man follows Denji, a 16-year-old orphan who works as a devil hunter for the Yakuza to pay off his parents' debts. That is, until they betray him. And instead of dying, Denji's chainsaw-powered companion, Pochita, merges with him, basically becoming his demon-powered heart and turning him into this hybrid known as Chainsaw Man. In season one, Denji is recruited by the super cute, somewhat mysterious Miss Makima, the head of public safety, and she places him in Special Division 4 alongside Himeno, Aki, and Power. And the film really picks up after Himeno's death, with the rest of the team welcoming the shark fiend called Beam into their group. They aren't quite friends yet, but this strange found family of humans and fiends and hybrid devils is learning how to work together. That's when Denji meets this sweet new girl named Reze, who pulls him into a different kind of fight, a battle for his demon heart that feels as much like a coming of age story as it does an all out war that could cost him his life. That's where the heart, pun intended, of the REZE arc really begins. There are a lot of fans who've read the manga. Sadly, I'm not one of them, at least not yet. However, I have seen Chainsaw Man season one on Crunchyroll. So I came into the film knowing the story, but only up to the REZE arc. I think it's important to note that while you can still follow the general gist of Chainsaw Man the movie, if you haven't seen the series or read the manga, there's a lot of context and nuance that you're going to miss in this film without that background. So I want to give a big thank you and a shout out to my community, especially those who responded to my Demon Slayer videos and suggested Chainsaw Man. You also reminded me that this is a story where context really matters before watching the film. So thank you guys. You guys are always the best. Of all the things that I expected from this movie, I still wasn't prepared for what I actually got. And I mean that in the best possible way. The most surprising thing about Chainsaw Man is just how sincere it feels beneath all of the explosions and the gore. Denji and Reze are trapped in this impossible situation with no easy way out, and the film just finds something heartbreakingly human in the middle of all that chaos. Given how straightforward the series seemed in its early storytelling, I didn't anticipate the lingering sense of loss and sadness from an action packed film full of devils and chainsaws and teenage hormones. Denji is trying to make sense of his new life in public service, from girls to demons, while doing a job that's far too dangerous for a kid, except Denji, he's not your average 16-year-old boy. He's cool, yet awkward, hopeful, and impulsive, and completely without a real parental figure to guide him. The people in charge put way too much on his shoulders, which is easy to overlook given his brash confidence. That's why his connection with Reze feels so unexpected and meaningful in this film. In many ways, it plays kind of like a high school summer romance wrapped inside a violent, supernatural world that takes no prisoners. What's clever is that the story quietly follows a classic romance structure. You don't notice it until it's over because the action and the suspense are so tightly woven into it. The result is a bittersweet, surprisingly tender film about love and how it blossoms and it blooms and it breaks. And sometimes it never really gets a chance to grow or turn into something more. While we get a good number of scenes with power, Aki, and Beam, this really is Denji's film. And it's his transition from being a teenage boy to being a young man with a crush on Miss Makima, as well as this hopeful boy in love who sees the potential of life with someone else, somebody new who just really gets him. And it makes me laugh and it stirs all those hormones that we all went through as teens, but in a really great way. And the REZE arc is the first time that we really see Denji thinking about love and sex in a way that feels different from his wild fantasies of a boob grab. As much as some people might hear this and then think this is just another sexist, misogynist anime film or series, I have got to tell you that what's fantastic here is just how honestly it portrays what a young boy is thinking about when he's a teenager and how he reacts and how they kind of evolve when it comes to attraction and desire and girls in general. This story, it's nuanced and it's mature and it takes on this boy's coming of age story in a way that I just didn't expect from anime. And that right there really points to my own misjudgment of this genre. For that reason alone, I'm so glad that I took the advice that you guys gave me and actually gave Chainsaw Man a try because I really enjoyed it. We also get a much fuller understanding of Denji's power through his fusion with Pochita. Rezi calls him out, not just physically, but emotionally. She makes it clear that the way he's fighting, it's not good enough. And if he keeps going at that level, he's just going to get himself and other people hurt. That moment forces him to stop fighting like a blunt weapon and start realizing what his power could actually be if he really applied himself. From there, Denji grows, finally showing why the devils and demons want his heart. He isn't just leveling up, he is transforming. We also gain new insight into Reze and Makima, two women who are far more complex and far more formidable than they first appear. Reze is a fun, sweet, and cunning girl. She isn't who she pretends to be, but we sense that she is pretending to be exactly who she wishes that she could have been if her life had been different. We also begin to see hints of a connection between Reze and Makima that suggest a deeper deception and the potential for heartbreaking revelations for Denji in the future. It all speaks to the layered storytelling and themes that make this such a sophisticated narrative hidden behind a cartoon-like manga anime facade. Chainsaw Man, the movie, is produced by Mappa, the same studio behind the anime series, but it feels richer and much more cinematic than the series. The visual shift in tone is absolutely clear. The TV series, directed by Ryu Nakayama, is grittier and more grounded and kind of realism that gave it this tactile, lived in, kind of old school feel. But for the film, director Tatsuya Yoshihara takes a different approach. The biggest change is the evolution of the visual style, borrowing the manga's sharp lines and layered colors and that kinetic energy that brings the art to life. By pulling in the brighter and more lively colors, more kinetic motion within the animation, and a style that feels like manga springing to life on screen, the result is more cinematic than we get in season one of the series, which is not to say that season one is bad, it's just different. That artistic evolution kind of syncs beautifully with Denji's own emotional growth in this film. There are a lot of clues dropped in the film, which is one of the reasons it helps to watch Chainsaw Man season one before seeing this movie. For example, there is a subtle mention of an old Russian fable about a room full of weapons and how it ended up being true. Then there's this lovely moment with Makima and Denji at the movies, which hints at the potential of a deeper emotional connection between them. We also get a quick post-credit moment with Power that releases all of this built-up tension in the way that it makes you laugh, which is just so Power. Ending the film on this high note that both feels inevitable and unexpected. The biggest and most important theme in the film, though, is love and the fragility of true emotional connection, especially for a teenage boy who is in the process of growing into a young man. When Denji roars, everybody wants the chainsaw heart, but nobody wants Denji's heart. You really get the honesty of that line. It's full of frustration and longing, showing how invisible he feels and how few people actually see him as a person and not just as a resource or a weapon. It's a sincere moment of emotional growth that really defines what Chainsaw Man the movie is really about. And it's the struggle to be loved for who you are and not what you can do for others. I think that last point also underscores how easy it is to misjudge anime and manga as genres as a whole as well, dismissing them as adult cartoons that lean toward juvenile topics rather than serious, thought provoking, emotionally deep stories that are simply told in a medium that is largely misunderstood by mainstream Western audiences. On the bright side, more people are starting to become familiar with the manga and anime genres, and they're understanding how powerful these genres are as a way of telling stories across cultures and languages and borders. Because when you get down to it, we are all human, and humanity is made of stories. So, is Chainsaw Man the REZE arc ticket worthy? That's the question. Does it deliver the cinematic experience fans hoped for? It's not a flawless film, and a few of the scenes they kind of run long, and some moments really do linger past their emotional peak. But the positives far outweigh the flaws. Fans of the series will likely overlook them because Chainsaw Man, the movie, absolutely hits the mark by expanding the story while revealing more of Denji's character in ways that feel exciting, personal, and meaningful. For newcomers who haven't watched the anime or read the manga, the film still works, but you're going to miss some of the emotional nuance and backstory tied to Denji's coming of age journey and his bond with Pochita. You may also miss the deeper friendship dynamics with Aki, Power, and Beam, or the strange internal logic of this world. I'd suggest watching at least a few episodes of season one on Crunchyroll or Hulu, either before or after the movie, to help those layers kind of click into place for you. If you're not a fan of manga or anime, don't enjoy heavy violence, or prefer really straightforward storytelling, this probably isn't the film for you. It's a fantastic experience for fans and open minded newcomers who want to try new things, but it's unlikely to convert anyone who isn't already involved in the genre or curious about the genre or already reading or watching Chainsaw Man itself. Finally, two quick notes for viewers, and these are really important. Despite its animated style, Chainsaw Man, the REZE arc, is rated R for graphic violence and mild nudity. So it really isn't suitable for really young kids. And if you're sensitive at all to flashing lights or explosions, be aware that the Bomb Devil scenes really do feature these visually intense, bright lights that could be triggering for you. And the marketing doesn't mention that at all anywhere. So what did you think of Chainsaw Man, the REZE arc? I'm really curious. Are you a longtime fan or a new one like me? Let me know in the comments below what you thought about it and what you thought of Denji's experience and his growth here. And let me know kind of maybe one of your favorite points in the film. I think mine might be in the post-credit scene. I just got a kick out of that scene. So definitely stick around and watch that. And while you are here, please do give this review a thumbs up, subscribe, and share with a friend who might be interested in seeing this film. That's it for now, everybody. Thank you so much for viewing. I will see you all again soon. In the meantime, why not check out one of these videos? All right. See you later. Bye.